Now you know.
How much?
Now you know. No, now you know what we're working toward.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do like more individual little.
Well, there's gonna be a house.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. I know. Last time we were like, we're not building a house because every time, look, I have a Nerf.
That feels like my life, just random kid shit.
Juliet saw a
Everywhere.
Nerf gun at Walmart and she's like, what is that?
Oh, that's
I
funny.
want that. And I'm like, all right, I mean, let's give it a try.
Yeah, we run around and play Nerf.
That's fun.
Wars, yeah.
So, and then, yeah, the retreat center, it's gonna be like tiny houses, like the
Yeah, that's what I
actual,
thought, yeah.
yeah, and then up at the top of the hill will be like a regular house, and then there'll be a pavilion, like an outdoor kitchen kind of thing,
Oh, cool.
yeah. So I recommend this book, if you're interested, it's called The Joy of Living. I know another book, for those of you that have taken any courses with me, you know, there's a lot. It's really good.
Bye.
His name is Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. So Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. It is. But The Joy of Living, and you'll remember because it has this hymn on there. Our little Rinpoche. I shouldn't say that. He's like really his experience. His father was like a very renowned teacher, one of the most renowned teachers in Tibet before China came in and kind of ruined everything. But he taught him everything. And now, so he's one of the most modern day Tibetan teachers. And he's very into the neuroscience behind meditation.
Mhm.
So this book talks a lot about that, the results that they've gotten from, hooking him up to a special MRI machine while he meditates, and what parts of the brain light up when he meditates and when other people meditate. And it's really interesting to see like the part of the brain for him, the part of the brain that lights up compassion. He's already at like 700%, like he's using whatever that means, 700%. And then when he meditates, it goes up to like 800% versus like new meditators. It's like we start at 10% and then it goes up to 15%. But either way, it goes up, which is super interesting. Just we know that this stuff works. But I do love that there is science behind it, because a lot of people in the West like really feel like they need to know the science behind it and why it works. So there's a more of a comfort level with meditation and Buddhism. And I mean, Einstein, there's a great quote in here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where are you? He basically said, the quote was like, Buddhism would basically fix the world if it was right. If there is any religion that would cope with modern scientific needs, it would be Buddhism. Yeah, and was a long time ago that he said that. All right, let's close our eyes. Some deep breaths. Check in with your body. Let's see if it is calling for any small movements to help you come into a more upright posture. And that could just look like rolling your shoulders, rolling your head from side to side. For me, it's usually really pulling my shoulders back because I have been not been sitting in very good posture. You might begin to witness your breathing. Without changing your breath, you just notice how it feels in your body this morning. And if any part of the breath is uncomfortable, maybe you notice you're breathing a little shallow or breathing into the chest, and you just make a little shift to breathing deeper. If you can, in and out through the nose. This becomes an opportunity to relax your jaw. You're clenching your teeth. Let that go. You can let your tongue rest right at the top of your mouth. The tip of your tongue to the back of your teeth, touching the roof of your mouth. Your chin is kind of tilting upward, then drop it down so it's parallel to the floor, maybe even tilt it down slightly. And you'll notice when you do that, it opens up your airway a little bit more. It straightens the spine. So as you sit here, you develop a relationship with your spine, with your body, with your breath, with your thoughts. But as you develop this relationship with your posture, your spine, your muscles, you feel like you're extended up comfortably, but strong. Your back is strong. Your breath begins to come easier. And we don't worry so much about the thoughts that are floating through or racing through, even. It's okay. Just allow that to be what it is. Even if sometimes you're not paying attention, right? You get caught up in a thought, you don't hear what I say for a few minutes, and then you come back. That's okay. Or you notice how you start to slouch a little bit and then you realize it and you come back to your posture. That's okay. Meditation is a process, it's a practice, and it's not meant to be rigid or harsh with ourselves. Make sure your hands are comfortable in your lap or on your legs. And the spine is long. And you notice the muscles around the spine begin to relax a little more. Kind of falling into place. Some imagery from my teacher, she always says, imagine that your spine is like a stack of golden coins. And above your head, you can imagine or sense, depending on what type of person you are. Sense a Buddha, imagine a Buddha, whatever form the Buddha comes to you in. Okay, there's many different depictions. And from the Buddha, there emanates a field of rainbow light. Like the light of a full moon, right? But prismatic. And that surrounds you. Draw your awareness just below the navel. If you imagine, you bring your fingers together and there's 4 finger widths below the navel, right at that point. That's just a couple inches, 2 or 3 inches below the navel. Just bring your awareness to that point within the body. So we drop below the navel, but then we go back, right? So it's inside the body, it's in front of the spine, behind that spot at that point below the navel. So it really coincides with the womb. We'll focus there. And then there's this sensation that we can bring in, a drawing up from the bottom of the torso, where we kind of engage the muscles down there. And that drawing up, we bring it up to that point below the navel. We'll come back to our posture. We notice our beautiful golden stack, golden coin stack of the spine. Our tongue rests the roof of the mouth, just gently. Just for now, we focus on breathing. We have all those components in place. simple meditation from Thich Nhat Hanh, Blooming of a Lotus. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, and dwelling in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, dwelling in the present moment. I know that it is a wonderful moment. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Present moment. Breathing out. Wonderful moment. In. And out. Just for a minute or so, follow your breath. Being gentle. Allowing whatever rises to rise. Whatever falls away, falls away. And you're aware of that point below the navel. And then slowly trace that point up to the crown of your head. And then imagine on the right side of the spine, starting right around the point of the eye and the nose on the right side, there's another small channel that's red. And that comes down from that point around the eye and the nose, right down to the navel point, just below the navel. So follow that down. And there's another channel on the left side. That's white. Same thing, right around the eye, nose area, and the sinus cavity, and that comes down the left side of the spine and meets right at that navel point. And if you can, sensing or visualizing those three channels. The one from the navel up to the crown of the head is larger than the two on the sides. It's blue. Again, don't try too hard, don't force anything, just get a sense of your body and those three channels. And bring your awareness back to your posture. If your legs are starting to fall asleep, then move them very slowly to a different position. We have our points below the navel, the crown of the head, your body sitting here in meditation. The Buddha above the head emanating that beautiful rainbow light around you. Then you begin to imagine yourself as that luminous light. So we can lighten up in our bodies a little bit, right? Just for now, we begin to feel lighter and free from our muscles, our bones, our organs, our blood. Visualizing or sensing yourself as that rainbow light, that full moon light. We tap into that place of unlimited potential, which is also known as emptiness. Being connected to the breath. Taking your thumbs over to the base of your ring fingers, both hands. Folding the other four fingers over the thumb. And with the palms facing up, go ahead and tuck your hands, the top of your hands, right at the top of your thighs, that point where the thigh and the lower torso or pelvis meet. And this helps you sit up a little bit taller. If you put a little pressure there, it's okay if the shoulders lift up a little bit, just let them drop back. Open the heart, Chin drop slightly to really open up the airway, open up those channels. Come back to visualizing or sensing your body as that rainbow light. And the channels, the right, the left, the central. And releasing the hands, taking your left index finger to gently block the left nostril. Right index finger traces the breath as we inhale through the right side. So we follow that channel. Inhale through the right nostril, draw the energy down to that navel point. Gently hold the breath as the energy rises up the left side, that beautiful rainbow light. Blocking the right nostril, exhale out through the left side, releasing anger and aversion. We inhale through the left side, again, trace the energy, trace the breath, guide it, bring it down below the navel, gentle hold as it rises up the right side. We block the left, exhale right, releasing ignorance. Then with both index fingers, we inhale, tracing the energy, supporting it as it comes down below the navel point. A gentle hold as it rises up that central channel, we exhale. Aversion, ignorance. Blocking left, inhale right. Rainbow light, it rises up the left side. We block the right, exhale left. Inhale left. Let it rise up the right side. When you're ready, block the left, exhale right. Both sides, inhale. Bring it right below the navel as it rises up. It's blue. We exhale. Rainbow light. One more round. Inhale right, blocking left. Let it rise up the left side. Block the right. Exhale left. Ignorance, aversion. Inhale. Left side. Let it rise up the right. Block left. Exhale right. Good. Inhale through both sides. Bring it down. Let it rise up. Purifying, releasing, exhale, ignorance, aversion, delusion, attachment. Bring your thumb back to the base of the ring finger, fold your fingers over, place the fist palms up, back in that spot. Your tongue's at the roof of the mouth. You feel that little bit of drawing up from the bottom of the torso that comes up to the navel point. We just gently come back to visualizing the body, that beautiful rainbow light. Every time we meditate, we purify a little more the things that hold us back from our true nature of love, compassion, joy, and happiness, right? We let go of the anger, aversion, attachment, ignorance, delusion, all those things that we feel are human traits, but we can work through them to release them, to live in a place where we know that we can generate compassion. Dissolving the image of the Buddha above your head into your heart. Feeling a sense of gratitude. Relaxing your hands back to that comfortable position. Allowing yourself to focus on compassion. Even if you're just focusing on the word and breathing and creating a feeling within your body of compassion for yourself. Again, be easy. If it's uncomfortable to generate compassion for yourself, just notice that discomfort, that's all. Use your breath. Don't hold on too tight to anything that rises or falls. Just let it be and notice. As you keep on bringing your awareness back to compassion. Every time you drift off somewhere else, you come back gently to compassion. Few breaths. You can send compassion to someone you love. Maybe more than one person comes to mind. That's okay. You can send it to as many people come to mind as you wish. Passion is a genuine caring. It's not feeling bad for, not sympathy. It's just a genuine love and care and desire that everyone, everything, in particular, those that you love right now, are free from suffering. You truly want them to be happy, healthy. Any desire that you have to help them comes from a place of you wanting them to be happy and healthy. For them to understand their true nature of love and compassion and joy. And come back to yourself. Compassion for self again. The same thing, the desire for yourself to be happy and healthy supported. And not because you feel bad for yourself. Just a genuine desire to know your true nature. And to be part of the flow of life. Taking a few deep breaths, letting that go. You come back, noticing your body. Noticing your breath. Taking your time. Eventually opening your eyes. How do you feel? I know even guiding the meditation, I'm like, get into it, which is pretty interesting actually. What parts of the meditation were uncomfortable, if any?
It's like relaxing, but also my body's like move. And I'm like, no. Just getting used to that.
The sitting,
The sitting, yeah.
whole other set of muscles.
Yeah, I was like sweating at one point. Like I could take these little hot flashes and I breathe out. And I noticed it yesterday when I was doing the Reiki stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is so weird.
What part? How is it? Tell me about the visualizing or sensing. I'm always curious of other people's experiences with that because I know some people are less visual. So that's why I always throw in the sensing, you know, so tell me how it works for you.
I'm definitely a sensing person.
Okay.
I'm not visual either, yeah. But I actually kind of find it hard sometimes to even sense it. You know, I have
Yeah.
to work at it. I just try to just get into, you
like let it be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm a very visual person. I
Really?
love the visualizations. That's funny because the 2 times I came last week, when we were doing like the breathing, like the one side, the other side, with like the red smoke, the white, the blue.
Yep,
I've noticed every time, so 3 times now, like the shades of the color of the smoke that comes to mind as soon as you say it has been different every time.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
like, I'd love to kind of like dig deeper into like why that might be. Like, is a lighter blue meaning like I feel lighter, or does like it just mean like I have less to let go of right now? Like, you know, so
Yeah.
like I love the visuals because like I do pick up on like details like that, even in my own brain. So it's like, and like because like rainbows can be in different patterns too. So even
Yeah.
a rainbow light, like sometimes it's like this like cool, like almost like if you were looking at like a rainbow reflected on the wall through like a crystal. And then other times it's just like, no, like I painted a rainbow and that's what I'm breathing out into
yeah.
the world. So like I love the visuals, but like because I
Oh,
kind of
good.
go a little overboard with the details, but also it's like maybe there's something to that because I'm not thinking like, okay, I'm breathing out a dark blue. It just like
It
it
just
just came to my
happened,
head. So
yeah.
it's like, that might mean something.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. That is true about the rainbow. Like cause I'm sort of in between, like when I visualize the rainbow light is usually like, it is more like like a prism
Yeah.
kind of, like, it's not all rainbow, like
Right. Well, you had sort of said that,
prism.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
and which for me kind of. Like I didn't see the rainbow.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. Rainbow light, yeah, cause it's kind of like we're filled with rainbow, yeah, it's more of a prismatic kind of thing. And then the full moon light, right? So I feel like when I visualize both of those together, it sort of is more, it's definitely more prismatic, yeah. And there's something about when I visualize the Buddha above the head, that it's like it automatically creates this field
Mhm.
around me. I don't know if
Yeah,
anybody else
me
feels
too.
that way,
I
yeah.
put it's like I put myself like in a little bubble. So like when you said that glow of the moon, I'm just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm like in this bubble of
Yeah.
that glow. And then when you tell us to put them back, he like goes
into the heart. I love it.
You know, it does it for me.
Yeah.
Into my heart.
Oh,
And it's like I have a little Buddha figurine on my windowsill and he's like brown with like sparkles in him. So that's what I
Oh,
think.
yeah, yeah, that's perfect,
That's my favorite person.
yeah.
Yeah.
Neat. All the imagery around that type of meditation. There's so much imagery in Tibetan Buddhism. I love it. So working on visualizing it is always neat to see what happens. How was it for you?
Yeah, the same thing, like, it was more like a prison.
Yeah.
Visual person too.
Yeah, all right. Nice. And the lightness in the body. I always feel a major shift when I bring that aspect in, of like letting go of the heaviness.
Mhm.
It's like happens so quick.
Yeah, and you had mentioned about, if your legs are falling asleep or whatever, and wiggling my feet, and I know that they're falling asleep, but I just couldn't move.
You didn't want to,
No,
yeah.
Just had to stay.
Good. I'm glad that you did, because I was like, I should have said stay if you want to, you know,
yeah.
but I know some people their legs fall asleep, but they feel like they have to stay.
Mm.
So I just want you to know that it's okay to move.
Yeah, no, I couldn't, I was just like, nope,
No, they're gonna stay. It does go away.
it does.
Yeah, definitely, if you just hang out there a little bit longer. And I think when you start to work on your posture, that definitely helps, like the blood continue to, that the uplifting feeling, it frees up physically, like the hip flexors, so that way the circulation, the blood can continue to circulate throughout the
So I was
body.
trying not to peek when we were doing the breathing. So can you kind of like go?
You
through
can,
that?
you can.
I
piece
know,
it.
but I just,
So it's,
I did a little bit, but I was just like.
so the Vajra posture is this, thumb comes over here, fold the fingers over, we tuck it here. Really wanna sit up as tall as you can and try to straighten your arms, cause that makes all the channels open and it lengthens the spine. And then you have your tongue at the roof of the mouth, so you're kind of containing energy when we do that. And so that way it can flow when you bring in like the rainbow light, it helps to, heal the body and stuff. So that's the Vajra posture of Vairochana. Vairochana, and then the alternate nostril breathing is this, so we inhale. Hold, but you got, as you hold the breath, you're guiding it up the other side, then you switch, exhale. Inhale. It rises up the opposite side, switch, exhale, and then both sides. It rises up the central, exhale.
Okay.
Yeah,
I always go like this, cause I think
like
you said
around,
wraps
it is,
around.
yeah.
So I always like.
Like the
wrap it around.
nasal
Yeah.
cavity, or the sinus cavity, it does, it wraps around and it comes down,
Yeah.
Thank you.
yep. And so if you picture, that's kind of why I brought that in too, like the central channel is that navel point to the crown chakra.
Mhm.
And then the other ones are here, but they all connect, right? So that way, one sort of clears the other, you're always kind of mixing the lunar and the solar, or the masculine and the feminine, and then the central is the neutral, where we neutralize everything.
Mhm.
And releasing the things that we don't want, the judgment, that was one of the words that I didn't think of, but the judgment, the anger, the aversion, the ignorance, and the delusion, right? Those are the qualities that hold us back in life, that we're constantly, we use these practices to be aware of. Because you might think, well, I'm not a judgmental person, I'm not ignorant to anything, but really, like when you sit with it or you move through any full day, and those things come and go all day, and the practices help you to be more aware of where those little things are. And that way you can start to release them more and more, and just kind of allow yourself to come into that place of neutrality, or equanimity, and sit with the undercurrent. What I keep saying is the undercurrent of joy and peace that lives within you all the time. We don't have to, that's the cool thing about Buddhism, right? Is that we can learn to be aware of our emotions as they come up in any given moment. And with enough practice, it's like start small, right? We at least become aware that we're having a reaction at first, because a lot of people live without even that. I mean, we know, right? People live oftentimes without even awareness that they're having a reaction. So, and it probably happens to all of us too, all the time, to varying degrees, but with more practice, you start to become aware of that you're having a reaction to an emotion. Any emotion, anything, right? Anger is obviously the easiest one that we can all relate to for whatever reason. When you become aware that you're having a reaction, then you can make adjustments, so that way you don't have to dive into that reaction and act from the reaction, right? The practices help us to become aware of the reaction and not react, right? And you can come back to your inner peace faster. And when you first start to develop that awareness, and it happens in waves, and it becomes more and more subtle. So when I say you come back to your inner peace or your equanimity, it depends on what is happening, right? What you're reacting to, because life is life, and we know that it's hard, it's challenging. So even something that's sort of major and you're new to these practices, it can take months, but you still eventually come back. Sometimes it's even years of working your way back. but you know that, like, it's the awareness of knowing what's happening. That's the key really to all of this, is awareness, 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 which makes life very multidimensional. When you have the awareness at first, when you're developing this awareness, it can be really uncomfortable. Because then you're aware of everything that's happening. Whereas before, you know, ignorance is bliss, that saying.
It's like, wow, I really am judging.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It can be frustrating
Mhm.
even, because you're like, what the heck? You know, this is still
I
coming
really
up.
do want to control everything.
Yeah.
Right? I really do think everyone should act the way I think they should.
Exactly.
And even that little, like, with compassion, right? I thought it was important to kind of describe what it is, because a lot of the time too is you might confuse compassion for sympathy. You know, where you kind of, you think of someone, especially when you know, when you're doing these practices, and you kind of feel bad for their life, or what you think that they, you know, you think they should, you think you know better, right? But that's not what compassion is. It's really just allowing everyone to sort of be who they are, and then like infusing that relationship with that understanding and love. It's creating that field that we created around ourselves when we imagine the Buddha, and we sort of are in that field of compassion, or that rainbow light, or that it's emptiness, but it's the infinite potential. So it's like you're emanating that love and compassion to whoever it is, yourself, to whoever you love and care about. And then eventually, we didn't go there today, but people that we struggle with, you know, personally and worldly, and just holding them in this place of compassion without judging.
It's like unconditional love.
It's unconditional love, yeah. I mean, that's always the argument with the bhakti. It's not really an argument, but Buddhism and bhakti, right? Like that. It is, but that's the bhakti in you. That's that's the love yoga. You know, when you're the yogi, the bhakti yogi, you always come back to calling everything love, right? But the Buddhists will say compassion, and it's all the same. So whatever, however it works for you, you're just loving everything and everybody as much as you can for exactly what they are, right? And holding the space and the energy, you know, around that is really powerful. And we see it all the time in big pictures, like in worldly stuff, you know, when there's a leader that, you know, is obviously powerful and makes harmful choices. There's a lot of angry people around, you know, that think bad thoughts towards that person. And you know, like you can see the negativity that sort of is created from that. There's like this feedback. And then just on the flip side of that, you have leaders that are compassionate, you know, like the Dalai Lama is the easiest example, and I use that a lot, who lives in compassion, who lives to eliminate suffering as much as he possibly can in this lifetime. And there's tons of people that are constantly holding him in that light and those prayers of compassion and love. And you see that, right? So it works. You can just see how it works on both ends of the spectrum. You know, so it's like, why not choose that path of love and compassion, right? As much as you can within yourself, infusing yourself, generating that natural ability that we have, and then allowing that to radiate out from you, to be on that flip side of someone that's always generating compassion and developing that awareness of self, right? More and more and more, like kind of gently analyzing yourself and saying, okay, I can make this shift. I can open up a little bit more here. I can be less judgmental. It's way easier to be more loving and less controlling and all those things. And it's also challenging. The more you practice it, And you do start to extend it out to those that you struggle with emotionally. But it does feel better because it allows everyone to be who they are, but also holding someone in love and compassion because, in an instant, someone can decide that they want to explore their awareness and compassion. Anybody on the whole entire planet, no matter what path they've chosen, no matter how much harm they've done, in an instant, they can wake up. So holding that space to me makes a lot more sense than holding the angry space where we wish them harm because they've been harmful. That doesn't make sense because that's causing more suffering. So we'll leave on that note. We'll end it on that
I
note.
love everybody.
To love everybody, yeah, Maharaji, that was his message all the time, was love everyone, feed everyone, tell the truth, serve everyone. Just put yourself out there in a way where you're compassion, you don't feel bad for anyone, but you just love everyone.
Why can't you feel bad though? I mean, I feel bad for some people. I mean, I love them, but I still feel bad for the circumstance that they might be in.
Because it creates a separation of like a hierarchy. Like oftentimes the people that we feel bad, I mean, obviously, yeah, there's suffering and we want to help, right? Like there's that feeling. But sometimes we feel bad for people that don't want to be felt bad for. Like that we look at their life and we're like, oh, that's really hard. But then if you talk to them, they don't feel that way. You know what I mean? So like, it's like a judgment, right?
But if they do feel that way,
If they feel bad for their own lives.
yeah, if they feel bad for the circumstances that they are in, even though they might be of their own doing.
I don't know. I still would choose compassion over sympathy, or maybe it starts as sympathy and grows into compassion.
But
You
I
can
feel like
still have
I
all true.
feel like you can have compassion and still feel sympathy at the same time.
Well,
I
there's
can
it's
do both.
altruistic compassion, so it's active compassion. So it still is that,
Mhm.
but minus like any kind of like, I guess it's like you have to analyze how you feel. Do you feel like your life is better? Like, it's subtle,
Oh, yeah, no.
which I don't think that's what you're talking
No.
about either. So it's like, I gotta find her book, but Joan Halifax's book is like I forget, Standing on the Edge.
Okay,
She talks about all the variations of compassion, and it's compassion in action, which is what you're talking about. It's altruistic compassion. So when the desire to help
Mhm.
naturally, right? Without like, I should help them because
oh, right.
that, like,
Right.
so that's what happens with
It's not
these
guilty,
practices.
it's
No,
like-
right, exactly. Yeah. So that's what that is. And like the book talks about how you can kind of go over the edge of, that's why it's like standing on the edge or something like that.
Mhm.
But there's all different variations of compassion, like altruistic compassion, so compassion in action, which is how we really want to live. And even doing that meditation is compassion in action, but then obviously we can physically work from that place, compassion and action. But it is interesting, like the mindset around it becomes very subtle. So maybe I'll try to remember to bring that book in next week. So
Yeah, Standing on the Edge, you said.
Standing on the Edge, is that what it's called?
I'm
You
gonna-
didn't find it yet?
She's like, I don't know.
I'll check it out.
Thank you for being here today. Standing on the edge. I know Josh was like, how are you gonna do that tomorrow morning? I'm like, I'm actually
Gonna
like
do it.
excited. Yeah, it is standing at the edge.
Standing on the Edge, okay, great.
And that one's really good to listen to. I know you're an Audible person. That one you can totally,
Oh, good.
it has the same impact. Finding freedom where fear and courage meet. It's really, really, really good. Yep.
Super.
Well, you'll probably talk about it tomorrow, but the way that you draw those symbols
Yep.
is different than the book.
Yes, and I definitely said it in there that the book doesn't
Do you
matter.
remember you
Yeah,
saying
okay.
that?
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is interesting.
So it's based on your teacher. So
Oh, I
even the
see.
way that she draws the symbols in the book is how she was taught.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they're all, it's kind of like the game of telephone,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It-
So
it's
I wonder
kind
what
of-
they really looked like to
Who
begin
knows,
with. Who
right?
knows?
Some of the Japanese kanji is like, you can't really change it that much, like
Yeah.
the distance symbol, some of that is exactly the same, and then some of it changes like towards the end, but yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know, it is cool.
Thank you.
Thank
Looks like
you, have a
Scott's
good
gonna come
day.
into the room and be like, what the hell is she doing? I'm just like, a million times.
I did
over
that
and over
yesterday,
again.
getting on the plane. I was like, oh, I forgot to give distance Reiki to this flight. So I'm like walking down the aisle going, doo, 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 doo.
And you were like, be weird in the video. And I'm like, I just started laughing. I'm like, it's already there.
Yeah.
Like lighting Palo Santo, got a
Drawing the
candle,
symbol. Isn't that fun though?
music. Yeah, just sitting in bed. Maddie was in our room watching TV. I was like, you gotta go. I got shit to do.
I got symbols to
I
draw.
got things to do in the air. She's like, okay.
I love it. So I will see you tonight. Are you coming with all the kids
Boys,
and the,
yeah,
and
Scott's
Scott?
working. He probably won't get home till 5:30, so he's probably not gonna come. But
Okay.
I'm gonna bring the boys. Yeah,
Yeah. All right, cool. What time did I even say?
5:30.
Okay. 5:30, yeah, that's cool. I'll be there.